Good evening, everyone. This is Steven from Tim's Media. And again, I want to appreciate everyone for connecting this evening. First, let me start by apologizing for starting a little bit late. We had quite some few issues, but we believe that in course of the meeting this evening, you would have the best. All right, so this is time for you to send the link just now of Tim's Media YouTube page, Teams Media Facebook account right now to your friends, because this evening we will be talking about something very important: maximizing the global space. And we have our guest already who is already in the building, and he'll be joining us soon. But if you know you're connected, I'd like to see the chat session. Let me know where you are joining us from. Are you joining from Nigeria? Are you joining from Cyprus? Are you joining from Canada, United Kingdom, from America? Just let us know where you're connecting from, and we will truly be happy to hear from you. I remain your humble host. I'm Steven, and I'm here to give you the best. So let's get that rolling just now. We can play a song on the background by Dunsin or Phil Thompson, just to keep the place lively while we get quite some good followers and those connecting just now. If you are joining us, just let us know where you are joining us from, and we'll be so glad to have you. I'd like to see your comments. Let me know where you're connecting from. As we'll be discussing on a wonderful subject this evening: maximizing global opportunities. The world is, getting exposed and is expanding, and there are quite a lot of things that everyone needs to learn, needs to know, that would help you and that would take you to the right, height in life. So if you keep yourself, in the space and you just make yourself say, well, the information will come to me. Information will never get to you except you search for them. All right. So today is actually going to be a wonderful time, and I want you to share with us. Let me know where you're connecting from. We have our media guys who will pick up your comments. Just put it on the chat session on YouTube, on Facebook. Let us know where you are joining us from, and then we'll be so happy to have you and to receive you. Again, you're welcome to Teams Media. Thank you so much. I'm going to put it on my WhatsApp right now to say we are live. That's what I'm going to do. So I want you to do same as well. That's right. So you could actually send in and share that on your space, your Twitter space, your WhatsApp, your Instagram, your TikTok. You have the opportunity to actually do that. Don't worry, go ahead. We've got time. And so this is just the opportunity where we just put these things online and just to invite, others to join us. I'm enjoying my song.
That is the wind beneath your wings. Is the one making things happen. In him you live. In him you move. In him you have your being. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. If not for grace, thank you for your grace. Everybody say, it's not by my power, and it's not by might. I'm not intelligent, but for grace.
All right, media, can you take that? Can you reduce that a little bit for me? This is all I can say. Thank you so much, everyone, for connecting this evening. This is Teams Media, and Teams Media is there to discuss about wonderful content, information that helps young youths, mature people. I'm using the word mature people in quote adults to see how you derive purpose, and it's out there to spread out important information that would help our generation. Tonight, we will be discussing about a wonderful topic, maximizing global potential. This is actually a wonderful theme. And so I want you to, release your mind, get your pen and your jotter. I've got my notepad with me. Get your pen and your jotter as we discuss on these things. And tonight, I'm actually here with my co-host. His name is Mr. Timothy Iheruwan. He happens to be the CEO of Saptins Media. Oh, I like that video behind your screen, Satim. Thank you so much for that. I enjoyed that. How are you doing today?
I'm okay. Good evening, Stephen. How are
Good
you?
evening. I'm fine. I'm fine. So again, those of us who are actually connected, I'd like to know where you are joining us from. We'll be so happy to receive you, and we'll be so happy to see that you are connecting. And so, Satim, how was the Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday has been going on well, and it's still going. So we hope after this program, then we have a lot of things to still do
All
before the
right.
night.
So what are your expectations for tonight's meeting?
Yes, the global space
Mm-hmm.
or the global world
Mm-hmm.
is something that we cannot really uh, talk about
Quantum.
just one day, because there are a lot and a lot of opportunities out there. And I think for tonight, we have the right person to actually discuss this with us as a
Mm-hmm.
people so that we can learn. And also, after today, we'll be able to utilize the global space going forward.
Okay. So everyone connected, please ensure that you don't misuse the time that we have tonight, because our guest is fully ready, and I can assure you that he's fully prepared. You get that now. So please come and drain him. Let him know that when he's leaving here, virtues will leave him. Hallelujah. Or praise the Lord. Or hello. All right. Hello, Grace. Thank you. I'm joining from Nigeria. All right. Thank you, Grace, for joining from Nigeria. Okay. So those of us who are connected is good. We know where you are connecting from. So I'm going to bring in our speaker now so we can save time. But before then, I'm just going to read the profile of who he is to you. So when he's speaking, you would understand that he's actually speaking from an authority of knowledge that he has. His name is Emmanuel Eze, and he has he's a doctoral researcher in the University of Heidelberg in Germany. So you know that German, they are very good with things that has to do with industry, and he's a lecturer and was a lecturer at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. He's teaching, and his research themes span geographic. He's an environmental and a climate change educationist. He's a climate risk management, and he's a natural resource management. Also, I'd like to let you know that his current research focuses on assessing disaster risk and its management in the vulnerable African context. So he's speaking that he's someone who has got what we call a quality control system or knowledge, that they are able to understand, risk factors. So when you see maybe a construction is going on somewhere, these are the people you could consult, because they can think outside the space to tell you exactly the risk factor, the risk that it entails in a construction site. I'll just tell you something about him again, that his passion is seeing others grow. And that has led him to have a YouTube channel that provides real-time information on opportunities for ambitious and underprivileged youths to seek educational and career advancement abroad. So he's going to be telling us his YouTube channel. So he will share that with us, and we'll pass that across to you. So you can always also subscribe. And I've not even told you, don't forget to subscribe to Satim's Media. All right. So you could get contact, right information that would help you. And so Mr. Emmanuel Eze, or Dr. Emmanuel Eze, has got a YouTube channel as well, that he shares real-time information that helps youth and that makes them grow. He's an academic coach to many youths. So if you want a mentor that is an academic that deals with things that has with academics, you can actually meet him. So he's an academic coach to many youths across Africa. He loves research, he loves teaching, he loves reading, he loves networking, and he loves music. So it looks like I actually know he loves music. That was how I was saying, let's play a song for him. And he's married to Peace, and they are blessed with 2 children. So wherever you are, I'd like you to welcome with me this evening, Dr. Emmanuel Eze. I'm clapping over here. I didn't tell you that he has lived in scholarship for years now. So he came out, he has scholarship in undergraduate. I think he did as well in secondary school. And I'm very sure he's on scholarship right now in Germany. So I tap into the grace of scholarship.
Yes.
You're welcome,
thank
sir.
you very much for the powerful introduction, Stephen, and thank you, Sir Tim, for bringing me on
You're welcome.
to share my few thoughts and experience, basically. And I hope you're not going to be asking me theoretical questions. I only know how to share theory, practical experiences of things I've gone through, and I'll be happy to, bring them as they have happened to me. It's easier to share experiences than to discuss theories. And thank you for bringing me on. Yes, you're right. I have been privileged to partake of scholarship opportunities in my bachelor's and in my in one of my master's degrees. I have 2 master's degrees, and in my current doctoral research, I'm also benefiting from a fully funded scholarship. So, and I attribute this to the grace of God and the inspiration I found along the way.
So just before we continue, because it looks like I've got a well of questions to ask you from you passing through 2 master's degrees and now you're in your doctorate. So tell me, how was your academic pursuit thus far? Because we are in an age today where people really don't want to take the pain to study, to read. They want everything to be easy. So share with us, how was your first postgraduate history progress like?
Well, if you talk about the demotivation to be educated, I mean, formally, to engage in formal learning, it is something that is increasing, especially with the ease of getting information on the internet. But you see that going through a systematic and well-planned or well-thought-out curriculum is still non-negotiable. If someone has to be focused, and if someone has to toe a particular path in a field of specialization. And so for me, I knew towards the end of my bachelor's, because I got into school as a full-blown adult, and so by the time I was graduating, I knew already what career path I wanted to take. That I would be I wanted to be a lecturer who will teach others and who will conduct research, and this helped me to tailor my attention on what will place me on this path. Firstly, even while I was waiting for my youth service, I had to embark on a kind of voluntary internship. I attached myself to one of my lecturers and said, I want to learn how this research of a thing is done, because I loved research. And theoretically, I passed a research course. We did a research methodology course in my 3rd year. And I was the only student who made an A in that course.
Wow.
And my A was 70. So I don't know how it happened, but that was what it was. So it boosted my morale. And even after I had graduated, even when I became a lecturer 4 years or thereabout later, I could remember what chapter I read, what topic, what issue in research, in which particular book we used. So we used 2 textbooks that time. And so I was so passionate about that. I aligned myself in that path, took up an internship, and learned a bit of research. And I knew that, okay, you also need a postgraduate experience, where you go deeper into more concepts, you take up, additional learning to specialize and to be higher than those you're going to teach, and then expose yourself to more independent research. So
mm,
this was how I enrolled in my first master's degree. And along the line, I was trying scholarships. I had already gotten a scholarship during my bachelor's.
mhm,
So this time I was no longer too ignorant of opportunities that existed, even though I lacked, you know, well, well prepared and organized information. But I knew that there were opportunities. So
mm,
in one of those attempts, I got a scholarship to do a master's in Ethiopia,
mm,
an intra-African scholarship funded by the European Union. And at this time, um, I had gone up to 3/4. I mean, three-quarter of the current masters I was doing in Nigeria. But then I had to leave, go get the one that was funded, came back, and completed the one I started. So it's not
fantastic.
like I plan to be a bookworm, but it was circumstances. But I think it also feels good because there is a kind of color it adds to my profile. That I have a master's in climate science
Mhm.
on one hand, and another master's in geography and environmental education. So it places me in the path of the dream I have. I want to be a physical geographer,
Mhm.
um, dealing on climate issues, disaster issues, risk management, disaster risk management, as it relates to climate change. But also, I want to be well grounded in um, the principles of teaching whatever knowledge I have. So I like the color that both masters brings on my profile.
That's great. You've actually released truly a well of knowledge. And I have questions interspace of all these things you have said today. First, for those of us connecting just now, this is Satim's Media, and we are live already with our guest. He's already speaking with us, about his academic pursuit thus far. He has a master's degree in climate science and then the other in geography. Now, so from what you have said, you made a statement. You said you already knew that you were going into your postgraduates. I want to digress a little because if we are going to talk about maximizing the global space, right, it's good we understand purpose. At what point did you recognize your purpose? And what were the litmus tests used to know that this is exactly what you wanted to do? And then the next question I will ask is, why did you like climate science? So let's talk about purpose.
Okay, this is a lot of nebulous, I mean, multi-connected questions. But beginning from purpose, I'll keep it simple. Of course, I'm a Christian, and I'm unashamedly, unashamedly so. I say it even on my YouTube videos, and anytime I talk to people, I identify myself as a Christian, and um, there is a way that we think, and there is a way we walk, and there is something in us that keeps guiding us and showing us the way we ought to follow and the path we ought to pursue. But generally, um, an easy way to identify purpose is something that you enjoy doing, and you make little or no effort to
Mm-hmm.
bring great results.
Mm,
And I discovered that teaching was something that I enjoyed doing, and it was something that um, I noticed basically that when I teach, I have attention.
mm,
I I have the attention of people, and I sense that I communicate on whatever subject I've been assigned to teach. And I didn't want to be a teacher sincerely because we do not have this reputation of the teaching profession as being something that is interesting, something that is worth a living, or something that is professional enough.
mhm,
And so it didn't click. It didn't satisfy my pride, and I ran away from taking a course in education and it delayed me in getting into school for 6 years.
Mm.
And it was when I submitted to this that everything worked out well, and I've had no regrets. So basically, to identify purpose is simple: is to look inwards in the quietness of your thoughts, in separation from the noise of social media, from the noise of popular opinion, from the noise of people who think they know you, to what you know about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things you know that you just need 5 minutes of quietness, and you
Process it.
come out and you're the star of the moment.
Wow, that's great.
That activity
Mm-hmm.
is your purpose is not far from it. Your purpose is not far from that. And for mine, it was teaching, and it was clear to me even right before I got into the university, and I I decided to pursue that eventually.
All right.
So why climate
Yeah,
science?
climate science. Yeah, because I never
I
liked geography. Nope.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I remember I remember back in secondary school we had I think human geography and there's another one, and I
Physical.
never liked them because there are a lot of coordinates that you had to learn: north, east, north, south, south, 90 degrees, and I never loved calculation. So that's me. No, sorry.
Yes, yes, yes. Even my geography teacher, one of the times in the secondary school, it was the bell rang off, and I'm a
Man
very
was still
quiet.
there.
I was a quiet person, definitely, but that day I don't know what came over me. I just said time up, and I was really punished for that. He gave me a very large field to go and clear as my punishment. To clear the grasses of a large portion of the school field, and I had to go and dig up a picture where I had a dislocation in my arm and say I can't do this kind of punishment. And so I'm saying generally, I've only a few persons I've met. People are surprised. You're doing geography at PhD level. I mean, who does geography at PhD? But you see, um, it's practically about. It's not about the course that you read.
Mm-hmm.
It's about what you make of it. It's about
Mm-hmm.
the passion that drives you, the
Mm-hmm.
direction that you go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Geography became my choice eventually. I have to put it this way, not because I loved it, but because that was where everything was pointing me to,
Two.
basically. And I read geography education in my first degree.
Wow,
And
great.
all through that, by the time I graduated, I felt okay. Um, the burning issue is the issue of climate, and it's real, it's valid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that I want to identify with this. I want to learn more about this, and I want to dig deeper about this. Like I said, to know more, to teach, to be able to teach better. And so this is my motivation of taking up the opportunity I saw to do a master of science in climate science.
Climate science. Wow, that's great. That's great. Now, I understand that you had your passion and you derive purpose, which is very good. And those are one of the two weapons that's needed for destiny. Now, what I want to ask is I've asked before in a passing, but I'd like you to share with me. Have you had any academic challenge, most especially in the quest for a doctorate? Because over time, I've had friends who are into this PhD of a thing, and they've got their postgraduates, and and then you hear them complaining, and your storyline could be a source of encouragement to others. So, and now if there were challenges, how did you overcome them? How were you able to, get back on your feet and see that you had to get everything up and doing?
Well, at all levels of education, even in the primary school, there are challenges. The first day you attended school, I don't know about. For me, I attended school. I started school late. I was probably above 5 when I started nursery school,
Mm.
And I remembered I was so carried away by the busyness of the street that my mom crossed the road, and I was still looking here and there, only to discover she has crossed. I didn't know the principle of looking here and there. I just put my head and I was knocked down by a bicycle,
Oof.
on my first day in school. So, I mean, there are challenges, but this is just by the way. Um, there are challenges of delay. Like I said, I spent 6 years before I got in for my first degree, and there are other inherent challenges in um, the education system that we have, and there is the challenge of a crammed curriculum. I'm talking of local challenges
Mm-hmm.
that I faced that could also be the
Effect.
challenges that others are facing. I escaped strike during my own studies. I
Mm.
completed my 4 year studies in about 3 years and 3 months, 3 years and three calendar months. But I was delayed for 1 year before NYSC. That was when strike held me. But like I told you, I used that time to do an internship, a voluntary internship. I just attached myself to a lecturer and said, I want to learn how to do research. I want to learn how to do literature review. And that's the way I converted that challenge into something profitable for me. And on LinkedIn, I see many people who are doing the same. During the last strike, some people, took a lot of certification courses, online
Mm-hmm.
courses, and they did all of this. And coming to doing a postgraduate studies abroad, um, different challenges to be expected. The first is culture shock.
Mm.
As soon as you leave your country, even right in the plane, you begin to get some culture shock because the meal you're going to be served in the plane is going to be
Yes.
probably different from what you used to know and what you used to like. When you arrive at the destination, there could be weather shocks, there could be different forms of culture shock, and it is good for people to learn about this early enough. And language could be a barrier if you go into a country that is not speaking the local language
Mm-hmm.
where you're coming from, whether it's English or French. I first of all was in Ethiopia for my first time of traveling internationally, and that was
Mm.
not an English speaking country. But I think that also prepared me in a lot of ways to um, come to Germany after some times I spent in Nigeria as well. So, talking about challenges as a PhD student, I'm just giving you all manner of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Also, um, the first year of PhD is a year you are likely to crawl, to stand, to fall, to feel empty, to feel like a fool, to feel like someone whose brain is empty, to feel terribly confused, to meet the brick wall without progress, without success, to lose um, your sense of being smart or intelligent. And it's normal, it's entirely normal. And this is what I faced. And after I talked to a few people about my experience, I've come to agree that this is a normal experience
Mm.
for most PhDs, especially if you travel abroad to do this.
Abroad.
It's a different system. There are different expectations, and you it's a time for you to actually settle in and settle down. And so you just have to be easy on yourself, basically. And so I'm just summarizing my experience
Mm-hmm.
in that little way, and I'm landing on the fact that um, if you're a prospective PhD student, you should prepare for an unprecedented first year, and a first year where it will be difficult to determine how things go. But eventually, you'll be fine. Everything will turn out well. If you keep doing the right things, you will get your eureka moment, and it will be a launch into the speed lane.
So is it Germany that says tanke?
Yes, danke. That's
Danke.
thank you.
Oh, you
Okay,
see?
Mr. Emmanuel, sorry, Mr. Host. Okay, sorry, Dr. Emmanuel.
No, I'm not yet a doctor. I'm still a
almost,
doctoral researcher.
almost a
Let's
doctor.
put the doctor there. Oh. Let's put the title there.
So
Yes.
yes, I think because we have some of our audience out there that are undergraduate students, so they will want to know, obviously, if I'll start this way. If geography education was the course you chose at the beginning, probably while writing your jam, did you just apply for geography education as a course?
The direct answer is yes. Like I
Wow.
told you, I ran away from reading education. I never wanted it. I was proud, and even when I got the admission, somebody came to me and said, "My congratulations. I'm happy you got admission, but I don't like the course." And I told myself, "Well, I'm prepared for that now." Because when you see your mates reading this engineering, that engineering,
Medicine,
and
all of that.
this banking course and that law course and these cool courses in accountancy, banking, administration, psychology, and all those big courses, and you say you're reading education, it's like they're giving you admission that has been rejected. No, for me, I deliberately chose admission, geography education. And yes, it was a deliberate choice because I'd come to the point where I decided that I'm going to follow my heart no matter what anybody thinks about me, and no matter what where it leads me. This is what I know I'm being moved, I'm being led to do. So, and it's not like I'm a weak student. My first jam was 217. My second jam was 270. That's 270. My third jam was 248. My fourth jam was 252. And then my fifth jam that got me into school was 282. So it's not
Hallelujah.
like I'm a weak student, but somehow, like I told you, I'm a Christian and I have a covenant with God to always keep me right and guide me right. So I'm sure He wanted me to go the way He wants me to go and not my own way. So
Co-host,
this
do you
is
have
how
any other question?
I
Yeah,
conclude it.
yeah. After this, then you can take over.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine. I just want to know so I don't have to interrupt you. That's fine.
Yes. Okay. Looking at this story, which obviously almost relating to my own story during my undergraduate program too, and we actually know that you were able to secure a scholarship for your undergraduate program, which seems difficult to students in the higher institution in the university. So, how were you able to secure your first scholarship, and how was it like in general?
Yeah, this is quite. As I look back, it's nostalgic, and I'm sorry to if somebody gets offended, but I still attribute this to the mercy of God.
Mm,
And it's not like God dropped the scholarship letter for me from the sky, but
mm,
the circumstances and the kind of scholarship I get would make you know that this is a reward for doing what God wants you to do, basically. And I got a Shell scholarship.
wow.
And Shell, SPDC, Shell Petroleum Development Company, you will know the kind of courses they'll be happy to fund. They'll be happy to, give students funding. I don't think education will be top in their list.
Exactly.
And I am not from an oil producing state where you say, okay, maybe I know a traditional ruler, they gave me letter or something like this. And it happened so casually. So casually. At that time, internet is not as it is now. I had an Express Music phone. I don't know if they know
Nokia
not
Express Music, yeah.
the Express Music. And that was what we're using. So it's not from the internet at all. It was just on a poster posted in our General Studies building. I ran into it and I just saw it, scholarship, apply, put these documents together, send it by
Send it over.
post to this ABC office, either by post or by email. I don't want to be sure. I'm not saying I'm sure now, but we had to send a couple of documents, our WIEC result, our JAM result, and probably our provisional admission letter, matric numbers, things like this. And um, when I saw that information, I posted. It was quiet, and after a while, I got a text message that I've been invited to Port Harcourt to come and write an aptitude test. Oh, and this was my first aptitude test ever. And when I got there, I was clueless because, of course, it's quantitative and all those kind of tricky calculation questions. I did my best and came back. I didn't hear anything from them again until more than 1 year later. And then all of a sudden, I got a letter of award that I've been awarded a scholarship,
Wow.
and that was it. And it was under national merit list. And in my school, from the list that I got that was attached to the letter, my name was the last name on the merit list. So, and you know what that means. You know when they say cut-off mark,
Mm-hmm.
how we do it as in the department is that you bring a ruler. If they want 10 people, you just bring a ruler and number 1 to 10, you draw a line and send it back to admission. That is it. That's just all you sign. Draw line. So whoever is number 1 to 10 is that is it. Is merit. That one there is no apex. My father is this or no. Merit is merit. So, I think my name was the last name where the line was drawn, and that was how I got it. So basically, I would say from this story, if you are distracted, it's about paying attention
Mm-hmm.
to information that is around you. Information may no longer be posted. It may still be posted on the walls, in the department, but information fly around WhatsApp groups now like anything, Facebook groups. There are a lot of YouTube channels now that I'm wishing that I wish this present day was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I would have gone very far with the kind of information that is available. And this is why I also decided to have my own YouTube channel, because there are people who are doing great jobs, who have large following and sharing scholarship opportunities. But I feel that if I also, share the opportunities as I receive them, those within my cycle can also hear it from me. And if there were people who were directly in my cycle who did this, probably I would have gone further. So this is my story, and I'm seeing a question in my face.
Yeah, so we actually take time to answer questions. Again, I want to welcome Ojo Grace. I want to welcome Mr. Don Michael, Mr. Jonah from Port Harcourt, Engineer Lewis from the United Kingdom, Ofe Emmanuel Kayode. We say we lost your voice. I believe the voice is good now. And so I want to welcome again everyone. Thank you for joining. Now, in course of the meeting we have today, I'd like to ask you, sir, because we have talked about your academic pursuit, which is very good. But in lieu of the team maximizing the global opportunities, I'd like to start by saying that what are the opportunities out there? You started by talking about LinkedIn and people taking courses. Secondly, you talked about YouTube channels. Are there specific YouTube channels that you could prescribe or you could advise to say, okay, young ones could actually go there? Those in their undergraduates, those in their postgraduates can go there to listen and then get trained and get equipped and all of that.
Well, first of all, um, to touch on the theme directly,
Mm-hmm.
globalization starts from the mind. If
Mm.
you are local and you just want to remain local, you will be local.
Hmm.
And personally, I I I didn't want to be local, and it influenced and shaped a lot of the things I did at different. Of course, I'm not saying I had this ambition when I
Mm-hmm.
from childhood. Yeah, but with the exposure of the university and seeing categories of persons, my lecturers back then, I knew the kinds of people I wanted to be like, and I saw the things they were doing. I had them speak. I saw the activities they were engaging in, and I knew that if I want to be global, if I want to go here and there, as these particular sets of lecturers are doing, then I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to reposition my mind and my thoughts. So, maximizing global opportunity begins with expanding and enlarging your vision. Your vision should not be limited to, the little city, the little town where you are. Just a few days ago, my wife, anytime I talk about my village is so small because I can picture the number of houses in my village as we speak.
Wow.
And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes my wife would tease me and say, "This one." Sometimes she thinks it's just, extended family, thing, but it's the village. That is what it is. That is what it is. So if you don't think beyond your village, or you don't think beyond the course you think you're, some persons are limited because they feel. Um, I'm reading, for example, there's a course called Igbo linguistics, for Igbo language, or whatever course it is they are reading, and they are shy. They're not saying it. Those people cannot be global, because if you cannot come out to say, this is what I'm doing and I'm proud to do it, and you're not looking at the potential of that. I'm taking Igbo linguistics, for example. I was talking with somebody in the US some weeks ago, but last week or so, and he told me about a kind of program
Mm.
that is more like, it's more like computer related, but those in the languages are being taken in such a program,
Mm.
and it was exciting for me. And I was speaking with somebody just last night about same linguistics,
Mm.
and he was talking to me about computational linguistics. That was the
Wow.
first time I was hearing something like this, where uh, programming is involved. And so, if
Mm.
somebody is saying, oh, what are you studying? It's just Igbo
Igbo
linguistics,
linguistics.
and you are
Gets
almost wanting to
discouraged.
hide your mouth to say it. Then you don't know the potential of what you're doing.
Mm.
And I may not blame them. It is also because of how such courses are presented, and
Exactly.
the caliber of people who present such courses. I know
Mhm.
that if I go anywhere to teach geography, I mean, look at how many countries I've visited with my geography education.
Mm.
If I enter any class to teach geography now, I'm sure everybody will want to come and read geography,
Mm.
because I'm an epitome of one who has succeeded in that
Mm.
field,
Mm.
even though there is a very poor enrollment. From
Yeah.
my research and from other people's research, we know there
Mhm.
is poor enrollment in geography. Yeah,
Geography.
but it is because people have not seen what made economics popular in Nigeria is because an economics graduate became the CBN governor, and everybody wanted to now do economics.
Mm.
Otherwise, everybody was going to banking and finance and accountancy
Thinking and
before.
yeah.
So basically, what I'm saying is that this is the internet age. You should
Mm-hmm.
not wait for someone to come and
True.
model the success or
Mm-hmm.
the prospect of your course for
Mm-hmm.
you before you begin to think outside the box. You should begin to take proactive steps to look at opportunities that
Mm-hmm.
are available in the course you are reading. Of course, I'm talking because you have talked about undergraduate. Somebody who has graduated, I believe there's a level of maturity. When you graduate, as you are signing out, and you are packing your load to go back to your father's house or to your parents' house or to wherever you want to go back to, there is a sense of awareness and responsibility that comes on you, and you
Mm-hmm.
begin to think for yourself. But you see, at that time, it may be a bit late. You may have already lost some opportunities. And so, undergraduates are the ones who should begin to think.
Mm.
And if you're a graduate here, postgraduate, or graduate student, it is not late. An Igbo adage says that it is when somebody wakes that it is
Mm.
morning. And
Mm.
so I'm not saying that if you have graduated already, it's too late. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you begin to think about this as an undergraduate. In fact, it helps you to focus on particular courses. It
Mm-hmm.
helps you to take some activities seriously. It
Mm-hmm.
helps you to intentionally incorporate selfless activities such as volunteering and intentional skill set acquisition
Mm-hmm.
as you go through. You don't just want to graduate with a certificate, you graduate with skill sets from your training. And so this is the foundation for globalization. So it begins with you, your mind. Thank you for highlighting that.
Yeah.
Perceive, how you perceive where you are, what you are going through, and how you place that within the global context, where you don't see yourself as the local champion, but you see yourself as somebody who is aspiring to something that is great and something that is high up there. So I don't know if I
Hmm.
missed anything, but you see, this is something that I can discuss all day
That's
about
broad.
waking up and I'm not talking of going abroad. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Hmm.
about opening your eyes to see
See.
what lies ahead and what you can do with what you have.
That's great. Wow. The first thing that struck me that was highlighted is this globalization starts from the mind. And I can't remember the author of this book, Think Big. So you see, think big, stirs up your imaginations to let you know that you cannot be limited. Don't limit yourself. Don't keep yourself in that place and make you think that you can't do greater things. Thank you so much for that. Now, just in the passing again, before my co-host, I believe my co-host will have a question for you, talking about the global space, right? I'd asked before, and I said that I believe there are opportunities and then there are websites that we can all source for. Yeah. So, are there recommended ones that you could suggest for those going into research? Are there basic things, trainings they need to do? Because you see, it's very easy to say, let's do research, but there are basic ethics and integrities that applies to research, right? So this is the last question I will ask you. I believe my co-host we have one, and then we can start taking questions online. So those in our online space, it's good you start dropping in your questions just now on the chat, wherever you're connecting from. Just put in your questions. The media guys will be able to see it, and then they will highlight it up and will be able to ask your questions. So, sir, over to you. So, what are the best advice and provisions that you feel? Okay, think big by Dr. Ben Kansen. Thank you very much, Mr. Kayode. So, what exactly, are opportunities you think we can assess that could help us, both those in the undergraduate space and those who are doing their postgraduates?
Thank you very much. You see, it's there are a lot of MOOCs, mass open online courses that you can take in Coursera, in EDX,
Mhm.
and things like this. I've taken some of them myself. Some of them
You have to
I
pay for
didn't
them.
I didn't even I know you pay sometimes if you need a certificate.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, and we have to begin to think beyond certifications. Uh,
Mm.
Personally, there are courses I've taken just because I want to go through the content and
Mhm.
acquire the knowledge and the skill there
Mm.
to apply to my thinking about how to go about certain tasks that I involve myself. I'm sure I've taken a course like that recently. I have one popping up in my mind now. I took just for knowledge sake, not for the certificate. And again, you understand that some funding opportunities are also available within
Mhm.
these courses. You
Yes.
can write the lecturer or the contact person of these courses to explain your financial situation and to tell them why you need the course, and not just to ask, hello, sir, can I get waiver for this course? Things like this. No, you write politely, introduce yourself, and then describe how you found the course, describe the relevance of this course
To you.
to your present need and to your future career, to your future prospect, and to your future plans, and then stating that you need a waiver to fully register and participate in this course, and how this waiver will benefit you and how taking the course is going to benefit you. And when you make such a request and you send a grammatically correct email to these people, uh, usually they make considerations, especially for those from third world countries, or for those
Mm.
who can truly demonstrate that they have
What?
financial incapacities in
Mm.
funding or affording these courses. And when it comes to scholarship opportunities, there's somebody in the UK there, Victor Aboga, is a very popular and well well-known YouTuber when it comes to do it yourself, advocacy for scholarships. And this is what I stand for. My channel name is currently Scholarship Gen, and basically, I'm not subscribing. There are people who offer paid services to those who need scholarship. I'm not making a criticism of this,
Yes,
but that is not my own format, because
pursuit. Yeah.
I believe strongly that a person that cannot sit down and conduct a Google search to find a course he can study abroad may not as well be able to cope with the tedious postgraduate terrain abroad. So if you cannot do a Google search, how can you then turn in a plagiarism-free
Mm-hmm.
essay when you are enlisted into the program?
Mm.
How can you write? How can you piece together a
Words.
convincing letter of motivation or statement of purpose to be selected? And if you submit yourself to those who pay to offer these services, how can you vouch for what they give to you that
If
is not a
you,
copied work?
that's true.
We've seen cases of people who are sent packing away from their programs when it is discovered that their essays were plagiarized and the essays were not original and was copied from the internet. You save yourself this stress by learning by yourself. And you know what you learn by yourself, you are able to teach others. You can wake me up anytime, anywhere. I don't have to read or write anything to tell you how I got my scholarships because I did it myself. And so I'm talking about people like I know Dr. Olumuyiwa Ibalajobi. I know Victor Aboga. These are two people I can vouch for who are there releasing free information and content on how to secure scholarships and funding
Scholarships.
opportunities. And visiting their YouTube pages, you have, of course, these
Lot-
are well-established YouTube pages. Mine is just I have some stuff there. You can jump in. You will definitely get value. But these ones have they have people who they can say yes. 5 people from my scholarship from my YouTube channel got scholarships last year. 10 people got funding, in last 2 years, for
They have
example.
they have good track record.
Yes, they have track record of people who just followed their you without sending them, sir, help me, and all this kind of
Yeah.
messages. They just interact with the video. You get the video and then do exactly as they say and then follow. So I can say that for Victor Aboga, and I don't know Victor Aboga. We have not even had anything. I've only had some connection with Dr. Olumuyiwa Ibalajobi, who is also very popular. He's floating he has a website now called Scholarships Cafe, and he is based in Canada. Victor is based in the UK, and Olumuyiwa is a postdoctoral researcher, while Victor is in the last stages of his PhD. And so I think I've been able to give an idea. Coursera gives you a wider, as of today, I was still searching for courses I want to do on Coursera myself. And EDX is there. They have a lot. These two are the ones at the tip of my fingers where you can find hundreds of courses. Some are totally free and some are paid, but you can take the courses and just browse, get through the content without getting certificate. But if you ask for a waiver for the course fee,
Not to get paid.
enroll and get access.
All right. So, co-host, have you got questions? Because I can
Okay,
see people
before
putting their questions
thank you
in the
very
chat.
much, host. Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel, for the time tonight. Before we start taking questions from online, because we have a couple of questions coming from the various social media pages that we have. Owing to the fact that the globalization is the global space is competitive. We know that there are a lot of persons seeking for scholarships here and there on a daily basis. And Tim-Osa Media it is a practical media space that we bring people in to come and talk about how did you do it? Because I'm still surprised and I'm still shocked. One getting scholarship for his undergraduate, one of his master's program, and also his PhD. So is it that when you were graduating in your undergraduate program, you had a first class, That's what gave you the access to having a scholarship for your masters, and you had a distinction in your master. That's what gave you the access to having your PhD scholarship. How were you able to do it? Was it a degree you had, or or it was the way you presented your statement of purpose, or how were you able to really do this stuff that stand you out in a global space?
Okay, thank you very much for your question, Sir Tim. Um, like I told you, I also like practical because that way I save myself the stress of going to do any research before speaking. For my undergraduates, like I told you, I just saw an advert. I sent in my application with the complete documents to the right office or email. I can't remember now. And then I was called for the interview. I attended, aptitude test. I went there, did the test, and after a year or so, I got the award. And that was it for that. And yes, I would say that I graduated as the best student in my department, but I was not a first class graduate. I'm not a first class graduate from my bachelor's, but I had a strong CGPA, and I think that should be 88%. Of course, first class is 90%. So I was somehow, I
Close to
missed
it.
class. So if I would talk like the typical Nigerian student, they gave
Yes,
me,
pass lower. They give
they
me.
gave, they gave me 2-1.
That's right.
But no, that's I know that was what I had, and
Hmm.
I made a 2-1, and I knew that what I had was enough. But you see, I told you I did something, and I'll quickly say this: you may get a first class, but never get a scholarship.
Hmm.
And there are a lot of factors, and it's the same thing. You may have a first class, and they say, "Okay, come and become a lecturer, automatic employment," and the person who made a 2-2 becomes a better candidate than yourself when you are put to the test into the
Hmm.
reality, because it's not about smashing the grades. It's
Hmm.
about being a rounded student. And of course, as a student, I engaged in a lot of leadership activities, and this was I was a music leader in my social, we call it social cultural, social religious group, of course.
Hmm.
And I was a music leader. I was, um, and of course, as a music leader, that means you have to be you have to be a team player and a team
Hmm.
leader, really. And again, beyond that, I became the president of of of, of my group, and beyond that, this are elements showing leadership. And beyond that, I was involved in my department as well. I was one time the electoral chairman for my
I was about
department of
asking if you were into
faculty.
politics.
And I wasn't into politics. I was among those of men of integrity who conduct elections. So I was the electoral chairman
All right.
of my department and my faculty, and I was also, I think, a member of the constitutional committee of the Students Association for both department and faculty as well. So I'm saying that I was a rounded student. It's not only book. I was involved in my religious group. I was also involved in my departmental student association, faculty student association, in the little way I could. And aside this, again, when I graduated, I told you, I went into internship. I learned how to do research,
Hmm.
and from that, I had like a paper, a published paper article from that experience. And so it kind of showed that, okay, this person has done this, even though it was a simple scientific publication, but it was an evidence that I'm involved in something, and this was a plus on my CV. Definitely, you will take, if you are the founder, you will take me,
Take it. That's
even
right.
though I had a 2-1, but I have leadership experience, I have
Your
internship
success.
experience, I have involvement with student association at departmental and faculty level. You will take me with somebody who is just saying I have first class and nothing else,
Without no
because
experience.
because you know that I just missed the first class by a few points, But I've been involved in these activities, and I can even tell you that maybe because I'm involved in all these activities, it affected my academics. You will easily believe if I want to
Mm,
pitch my story in that way. So
mm,
basically, I'm saying that it's not just about the CGPA; it's about being a rounded person. It's about a person that 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 presents a picture of someone who is rounded and someone who fits into a team and somebody
mm,
who has potentials. That's what they look at. So this is that from BSc
mm,
level. Now at master's level, of course, I getting a scholarship, you have to give your best. And getting a scholarship takes away responsibility, takes away the thoughts of where will I get my next meal, how will I get the next, stipend or allowance in my pockets to do this. No, you don't think of that because at the end of the month, something will come in for you that settles all your basic needs. So it's now you and book. And yes, in my master's, I finished with a perfect CGPA of 4.0 over 4.0. And so, and I from that experience, I also I also did a very rigorous research exercise because let me quickly say this before I continue. It's not everybody that needs a postgraduate degree. It's not everybody that needs a postgraduate degree, and
that's right.
a lot of people jump into taking a postgraduate degree because they want to travel abroad or because they want to escape, you know, um,
The harsh
unemployment.
unemployment. Yeah.
Yeah, this may be a good motivation, but you see, a postgraduate degree is a preparation to take on a career of a research career,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Now, if you want to grow in your profession, the best thing to do is to get a certification in that profession. For example, you want to deepen your skills in accounting. What you need to do is not to take a master's in accounting, but is to go for the ICANN,
Exam.
qualification.
Mm,
Or if you don't want to play local, you can go for the ACCA, which is the international one. And then in doing that, you are exposed to the in-depth and practical skill set of that profession, and you are going to be ranked the same with any master student or any fresh PhD with such. And so that is that. So I had all these research skills in my during my masters, and again in my masters I was also appointed a leader of a group within the program, and this was in my CV, and my master's thesis got publications. I got publications from them in impact factor journals, and I had two of them from impact factor journal before I got a PhD. So these things count. If you want to get a PhD, then you need a good previous degree. You need to show that you have experience, and depending on where you're going for this PhD, if you're coming to Europe in general, you will need a master's first most
mm,
of the time. I
yeah.
now see that there are opportunities in the UK where you can go from bachelor's to PhD straight, but
Yeah.
these are exceptional. There are few. Such cases are more in the US. If you have a strong bachelor's degree, you can go straight for a PhD in the US. And in doing so, you're going to be competing. What you understand by scholarship is competition. You're
Mm,
competing with guys from China, you're competing with guys from India, you're competing with people, who are learning programming from their secondary school, and
mm-hmm.
people who have a lot of analytical skills, some people who take gap years. They take gap year after secondary school, they take 1 full year to understudy specific courses and know what they want to do in their bachelor's. And in
Mm-hmm.
so doing, they're already acquiring work experience. And so you see
Of course.
somebody who is graduating from his bachelor's degree, and he has 3 years work experience. They
Mm,
work part time, they work during the holiday, and
mm-hmm.
these are the people you're going to be competing with. So
Competing with.
from your end, you have to. Of course, I didn't know all of this. I had no guide who could break things down in this way. I didn't have access to information that could tell me all of this. I was just doing things trial by error, hit and run approach. But now I think we know better, and we're able to say this is what it is. You have to be competitive. You have to be rounded, not just priding yourself as a first class graduate if you are one, but also in the skills that you have. If you're in the sciences, you need to have laboratory skills.
Mm-hmm.
One of my friends was telling me yesterday about an experience um, with someone in Canada who needed to undertake some laboratory training
Hmm.
before being accepted into a master's program, because the supervisor said, "No, I know very intelligent, but we need laboratory skills so that you don't come and spend my work hour learning how to
Yes,
use the
what you're
lab.
supposed to do.
So you go and learn. When you are through learning, you come and then we hit the ground running." So this is the idea. So you must be prepared, basically.
That's right.
I don't know if there's anything I'm missing, but I think it's all about not just being a bookworm, but
Mm-hmm.
also incorporating all the necessary skill set. Research has to be there, communication has to be there, and that means writing and speaking, because sometimes some people want to hold a meeting with you, and not just they know where you're coming from, what you are aiming at, but they want to speak with you to know if this grammar you have written on paper, maybe you use chat GPT or whatever AI technique to write nice grammar, and they want to hear you speak. They want to hear you talk. They want to see your communication skills face to face, real time. If it is
Hmm.
the person who is behind this grammar we're seeing here now, let's
That's
see you.
right.
Let's hear from you. So communication is one of them. Then, if you're in the core sciences, laboratory skills are required, and your profession, you know what skills that are needed. And if you don't know, these are the things to begin to investigate, because, like I said, globalization, it starts in that way. And you must not even travel abroad to be globalized.
Hmm.
You can be where you are and begin to be global from the little corner where you are. There are a lot of global people who are still in their countries, and they just go for, they are invited. They come and speak to us on this thing. They come and then they go back to where they are based. And so um, I better stop here because teachers talk a lot.
Well, we have quite a lot of questions, and I don't know how you help us manage time, so each questions can be answered, let's say, in a minute or two, as direct as possible. So the first question says is from Engineer Lewis, and he's discussing with us from the UK. He said, uh, "Dr. Emmanuel, what year are you currently in your PhD journey? And when are you hoping to round off?" I think he's asking this question because you said you have done two master's degree, and you are actually run. So he wants to know at what age, because most people are, getting shy. But you have spoken with us boldly to say that you started your postgraduate in quotes at an late age, but you're not, looking at that, but you're just going headlong.
Well, I didn't say I started my postgraduate at a late age. I only
Oh,
said that
so I'm sorry, maybe I missed that then.
I
So
got
that's
I
me.
got into the university for a bachelor's as an adult,
As an
basically.
adult, okay, okay, that's fine then.
Yes, after spending 6 years after leaving secondary school,
Hmm.
I was no longer a teenager, definitely. So um, I'm currently in my second year of my PhD,
Okay.
and the minimum duration that that you spend in a PhD in Germany is 3 years,
All right.
and you know so there are some questions that are difficult to answer, and
Okay.
that kind of question is when you are finishing your PhD. Most times, people don't know when they are
People don't
finishing their
know.
PhD.
That's true.
So I would love to finish my PhD as
When
soon
God,
as possible.
all right. Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much
So,
for that.
Engineer Lewis,
All right.
yes.
So it says, "I learned a lot from this session and I love teaching too, especially mathematics." And you mentioned in the beginning that you started your MSc, and when you were three-quarter done, you did the second master's, after which you came back to complete the first. Now, can you explain how you were able to manage both ends without losing out in the first MSc? I think Ojo Grace is talking about you being able to multitask. So quickly, can you just share with us the process?
Practically, this is going to be subjective. This is going to be my own case, which may not be
Mm,
the same with yours. I started my masters in. I gained admission to my masters in geography education in 2016, and then I did that for 1 year. In 2017, there was an ASU strike,
mm.
and it was within that period I got the scholarship. I traveled abroad, and of course, some months ran into that strike. I left, and then for 1 year, I was abroad taking my in Ethiopia, of course, taking my
Oh, yes, yes,
coursework.
yes. So,
It was divided into coursework and project research work. And so after my first year, I returned back. I returned to Nigeria temporarily to you know tied a nuptial knot with my heartthrob, my
hmm.
wife.
Glory,
So,
glory, glory.
and in that period, I did my research proposal
Mm-hmm.
and I traveled back
Okay.
and concluded my research over there. And I came back and I finished the second master's before finishing the first. So it was when I
Okay.
came back, I completed the research. I missed COVID-19 and
Mm,
all of that. So
all of
I
that.
said that's why I said this is circumstantial, and
Mm-hmm.
that was how it happened in my own case. So
Okay.
it may not be that way, but if you want to do something like that, if you are sure you're going to come back to a program, then you can write, for you can defer
So
the
differ.
admission.
Yeah.
Yes, you can write to defer your admission and then go to wherever you're going, and you come back and then you say, I'm back now, I want to finish this program, and you finish it up. So um, that is it.
It says, so the next question says, please, what scholarship are you on for your PhD? I remember you
Yes.
said you did apply for, was it Shell? I'm not sure if I got that correctly. Yeah.
Uh,
So what scholarship scheme are you on just now with your PhD?
Okay, for my PhD, I'm on the DAAD. The DAAD scholarship is German Academic Exchange Service. It's the biggest scholarship in maybe
Germany.
globally, and it's
Okay.
very reputable, and that's what I'm using for my PhD.
All right, sir. Okay. The next question is says, personally, I'm having issues getting the right sites and the right method on applying to universities of my choice. So, how can I know the right sites to apply to school for a master's program?
Okay, this is where your searching skills come into
Mm,
play. Practically, how do you search for a school? You go to Google. Sometimes you may not even. Anyway, now you could know there is University of ABC in
mhm.
ABC country because of internet and because of people getting more and more aware of
Yeah,
opportunities and seeing a lot of more information on the internet.
information. Hmm.
But for me, who was not that exposed when I started this journey, I would just type top 20 universities in the US, top 20 universities
Okay.
in Germany, top 50
Okay.
universities in the UK or Australia or things like this. Those universities would pop up. And
Mm-hmm.
then when they pop up, you can now look at them and then go to their homepage. You go to their homepage, the main website of that university, not the website of any blog or the
Okay.
website of any other third party site, but you go to the main website of that university. You will know when you are there, and you'll be able to see the academic programs that they have. Or if you want to make it easy for yourself, you can type the name of your course. For example, if you want masters in geography, you can say top 10 universities in the UK with masters in geography, and it will definitely give you some result. And go through the result. It's part of the learning process, so it's part of the research process. Using Google is a skill, and in
Mm,
fact, some PhDs will tell you that PhD is basically the ability to use Google well.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because sometimes, especially some of us who are not in the core sciences, are mixing chemicals. You
yes.
basically about research. Just you search what has been done, what is not yet done, and you contribute a little to what is not yet done. So basically, You can get this website straight from the internet, and there is no other method apart from using Google and looking at the specific sites, the information there.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Please talk to me more on how to apply in getting the English test right.
Okay, to start with, uh, I believe this name is a Nigerian name, probably,
Mm-hmm.
or
Perfect,
Ghanaian.
Emmanuel Kayode.
No, I think
So
Yeah.
it's a Nigerian name.
most Nigerians, if you have a credit in English language in your WAEC, which I believe you do, because without it, then even if you're going to read maths, you need credit in English.
Mm-hmm.
So with a credit in English language, you can always receive an English proficiency letter from your institution stating that you have conducted your degree in English language. And with this, you can get waiver in many schools.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't have any experience writing an English test because I told myself that if I speak English more than my mother tongue, why should I have to take an English test to prove that I can speak English? And so any school that wants me to provide English test, I mark it out of my list. I don't bother. And so I'm sorry I don't have a personal experience in writing an English test, but I also know you can get waivers. And Dr. Olumuyiwa Balajobi is an advocate, an activist in writing to many universities to include Nigeria in their waiver list
Mm.
for English tests. So he writes to them and say, Nigeria is an English-speaking country, and we want you to include Nigeria in your waiver list. And no Nigerian should write English tests to be considered for admission.
All
Yeah, I
right.
think. Sorry, before
No, that's fine.
the speaker will answer the last question. I think the one we have for today. Yes. For like those two names you actually mentioned, I've been following them on LinkedIn for quite some time now, and they have been really, really helpful. I know he has actually written to some schools in Canada, and they have given waiver to the Nigerian student to come over and study even without an English test. So, but over in the UK, there are some schools, if you have your SSC, which is your WAEC, and is not more than 10 years since you finished your WAEC, you
Mm-hmm.
can apply with your WAEC, and definitely they will waive your TOEFL or whatever for you. You will not write like mine. I did not make use of any. I did not write any English test. I used my normal WAEC result. The school requested for my English test. I submitted my WAEC, telling them that it's not up to 10 years, and I did all my undergraduate program using English language, and they waived it for me. So I think that's. I'm talking about the UK generally now. So there are a lot of schools in the UK, they waive the English
English.
test for other people. Yeah.
And when you're, so to add, when you're writing such emails, make sure it's grammatically correct.
Correct.
Because you cannot tell someone that
That you
learned
did that
I've been
with
speaking
English.
English all my life, and then your punctuations are not correct, and you're using is and was and
Mm.
misplacing all of that. That will not be a good one.
That's
So
true.
That's fine.
I
Okay,
think
so
this
this
question is a little bit
no,
funny, and at the same time,
so it's not funny because if Dr. Emmanuel could actually choose geographic education or geographical education, I'm very sure he would want to go back to Nigeria.
the passion is there.
The passion is there. So let's ask, because this is the one that this is the one that so sir, they are asking, they're looking at your wealth of knowledge and experience. Would you want to return to Nigeria after your PhD to continue lecturing there in Nigeria?
well,
You, should- you
I don't know. I don't know the I don't know the aim of this question, and this is a very public space. But the truth is that
Yeah,
our wealth of knowledge is to be shared in different direction, and
that's right.
my focus at the moment is to finish my PhD, because the PhD is already a big work, and
Mm,
it's so tall that you can't see anything beyond it. So for now, what I want to see is the mountain of the PhD leveled. By the time I hold my thesis in my hand,
then you
then
know your next point of
then you
action.
see you just you have the realization of, yes, this is what I want to do now.
All right. So someone is asking, I think this will be the last. So someone is asking and is saying that what about those who don't have, they were about writing WAEC, I
Yeah.
perceive. He said, but NAPTEP, can I still apply to international schools?
Well, if you see, the interesting thing is, you should understand, at this time, this person is using NAPTEP, but there were times when people say NECO is not recognized
Mm-hmm.
internationally or things
Mm-hmm.
like this. No, you understand that the certificate you have is secondary, how would you call it? SSC, senior school certificate.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not about
The name.
examination body,
Okay,
but
good. Yeah.
about the equivalence of the certificate. For
Absolutely.
example, it is not whether I write IELTS or TOEFL. The important
Mm-hmm.
thing is the score I have.
Mm-hmm.
They are both English tests.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether it's NECO, WAEC, NAPTEB, is there another one? I think they're just these three.
GC, I think.
And the GC is still conducted by either WAEC or NECO. So
Oh, all right.
whether it is this O level is O level. The important thing is the component. If you go and write NAPTEP is more of technical education. If
Mm-hmm.
you write NAPTEP, and in that NAPTEP you have maths, English, physics, chemistry, and biology. This you can go for whatever thing that the same combination can give you in WAEC and NICO. But
Mm-hmm.
if you go to NAPTEP and you write woodwork, auto electrician, fishery, marketing, then you know that it is what that result contains that you can pursue.
Mm. Thank you very much. So, to the co-host, CEO of Southeast Media, what would you have to say before we end the meeting today?
Well, we have heard from the speaker this evening, and he has actually shared with us a whole lot of things that we should not just go back to our various houses and sleep without even thinking about it. This is the time where you need to stand up and compete with the global space.
Mm-hmm.
This is the time where you have to go out there and take what is rightfully yours. There are a lot and lot of opportunities out there. Not until I started connecting with some people, I never knew that there are a lot of opportunities out there. So I think this is where networking also comes in. The people you network with determines where you go to. So if you network with the right set of people, then the sky will not just be your limit, but it will be your starting point. So after this program, you can still come back and rewatch and listen to every bit of what Dr. Emmanuel has actually told us this evening, because you have a lot and a lot to still learn. Thank you very much.
And this is Teams Media. I remain your host, Stephen Aroshebe from United Kingdom, Glasgow. We want to say thank you so much for joining in. I want to say thank you, Dr. Emmanuel, for pouring out your heart to us this evening. I really want to say God bless you. And to our viewers out there, I want to say thank you for creating time to join us this evening. Let's not forget to like, to share, to subscribe to Teams Media platform, YouTube channel, and as well the Facebook page. And our guest who has spoken with us this evening, he's got a YouTube channel, Kingdom Minded. Am I right?
No, scholarship gen.
Scholarship Journey. Sorry,
Scholarship gen. Just
I'm
scholarship
too spiritual.
and then
Scholarship Journey.
gen.
So let's go to our YouTube spaces right now and then check out for Scholarship Gem,
Is
and
there a way
then
I can
let's.
type it?
Yes, yes,
Can I
yes,
type the
please.
name?
Is there where he can type media? So if you type it maybe on the private chat, there should be a place to do
Yes.
that, and then the media guys will copy it out and they'll paste it on the general
Yeah,
comments.
I've I have
You've done
I
that.
have
So
dropped it. I've dropped
Scholarship
it in the
Gem.
comment.
All right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they will see it and then they will send that in. So it's gonna come up in a short time. I think the media guys should do something about that. So I want to say thank you very much, sir. And indeed, I learned something. If there's nothing I took away with, I left with saying that globalization starts from the mind. In fact, everyone, can you put that on the chat session by saying globalization starts from the mind. Hashtag maximizing global opportunities. Hashtag Dr. Eze Emmanuel. Hashtag Satims Media. Let's make that trend. I'm going to do mine now. All right. Okay. So we'll see you the next time we have our talk show. This is us running up just now. Have a good night and have a wonderful week. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Hallelujah. Would you lift your hands and let him know that he is the wind beneath your wings? He's the one making things happen.